Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am Jayzon, and I'm going to be hosting your match here tonight between Roll1 Esports and Team Conflict. We got two teams from the B West Division. Let me go ahead and bring you guys over here a little bit, and we're going to get this started real soon. I think we've got both teams just about ready to go here. And I am definitely ready to go. Let me just confirm with both of our teams that we are good to go. And we'll head on into the first map. The coin toss was won by Conflict, and they selected Dragonshire for the first map for us to go to. And so we will be heading on off to Dragonshire to start, and then Tomb of the Spider Queen will be up second. And here we go, as Chromie likes to say. NGS season number 3, week 1, here in the B division. It is Roll1 Esports versus Team Conflict. And we're going to be starting out on Dragonshire. A very large map here in Heroes of the Storm. Not the largest, but definitely one of the most rotation-oriented maps in the game. High priority on global heroes here. High priority on sustain in the lane. Be able to try to keep a hold of this map objective as you rotate around and try and capture the Dragon Knight. Also, wave clear, really a big premium here on this big map, where you don't want to spend a whole lot of time in lane as you're prioritizing the 5 different mercenary camps here. But we'll have to see. I see we got a few fans already showing up before we even started the show tonight. So thank you very much for joining me, everybody. The nightcap for NGS, which hopefully will usually be here on my Twitch channel. But right away, Dahaka the Hover for the side of Roll1, and they are going to go ahead and ban out the Dahaka. Global hero, good wave clear. It really embodies a lot of what you want in a hero on Dragonshire. So I think that's definitely a good ban out to start the evening. Meanwhile, we will see Team Conflict with a response ban here. There are a lot of good candidates on the table for ban right now. Genji's very strong on this map with his ability to rotate around quickly from lane to lane and look for those strong ganks. It's also pretty common to see, the Hanzo ban out right now. He seems like he's pretty strong in the meta, but they're actually going to go to the ETC, which is another one on the pretty highly prioritized hero list. Very good frontline tank. He brings a lot of CC to the game, and that's going to proc the instant Hanzo pick from Roll1 Esports. Not surprising to see the Hanzo come out. He's a very strong hero in the meta right now, very new to the meta, so I don't think very many people have really cracked that code on how to really counter the Hanzo, if there even is one. Can be a very slippery hero in terms of his ability to escape via using his trait, which allows him to jump over terrain. And just in general, he brings a lot of damage, but he is kind of a high skill cap. You have to really be able to focus fire and really angle his abilities correctly, or you just don't get a whole lot of results. You end up with a lot of spread damage and not a whole lot of focus fire. But the response is big here from Team Conflict with the Greymane and the Stukov. So Greymane, a good all-around hero, good camp taker, good wave clear hero, and a good solo lane. So he brings a lot to the table on any map that he's on in any game. But Stukov coming out, one of the strongest supports in the game right now, save possibly Lucio. And the Stukov still very strong, good sustain, and he adds that CC potential with both his slow and that lurking arm silence. Huh. Yeah, get the Dahaka out of here. I like that. That's pretty good from D-Rec. And hello, Speed Cuber. Nice to see ya. Nice to see everybody showing on up tonight. And there is the Lucio on the other side. Lucio. Say. Thank you. I appreciate the support, Speedcuber, as always. Very nice to see people showing up and giving support to NGS. It's a really great amateur series. If you guys have not had a chance to look into it more, the Nexus Gaming series, very fun community. Gives teams at least 1 or 2 matches every week to play in their divisions, and good competition throughout. And they're planning on doing 4 seasons this year, so it's not too late to get involved and get in on a team, you know, even if it's just like a sub position or you start putting together a team for the next season. It's really a solid way to get some good amateur experience in HOTS. But anyway, the Kael'thas, a lot of wave clear. The Stitch is banned out here, and the Chromie going to be banned in response. So Chromie, you know, pretty strong poke hero, good anti-siege, good range damage. Also, it's a decent counter to the Lucio. A lot of burst damage potential both in the Chromie and in the Greymane, which Lucio can't quite handle without his sound barrier. So that's his one big weakness, is he really doesn't have a whole lot of spike healing, you know, or damage prevention all at once, unless he's got that sound barrier. So gonna go ahead and ban out the Chromie and not let that be a thing. And I guess the next thing we're going to see, probably a tank, I would expect, coming out here from Team Conflict. We know that Roll 1 Esports is going to want 1, if not 2 tanks from these final picks here. So it's a good opportunity for Conflict to get their pick of the litter. Diablo is still active here. Tyrael, Muradin. So they got a lot of good choices still. They are going to go with the Muradin, and they'll also go ahead and pick up the Li Ming. So they can't have the Chromie. But Li Ming also very strong. Not the strongest wave clear hero in the game, but she does offer some wave clear potential and a lot of spike damage potential. So yet again, trying to counter that Lucio, trying to get the spike damage out against the sustained healing. I really like that call. You need somebody with good range to be able to really go back and forth with the Hanzo and the Kael'thas. And it's the reset comp. It's kind of the old school reset comp. We've seen it with Genji more often lately, but now we got Li Ming and Greymane over there. So definitely looking for some resets over on that side to follow up with those storm bolts from the Muradin. And they still have the opportunity to pick possibly a different solo laner if they want to rotate around the Greymane or another tank. Speaking of tanks, the tanks are in for Roll 1 Esports. Diablo and Sonya, and that's going to proc the instant pick of Malthael here. He sees those big, juicy health pools on the other side, and he's going to go ahead and take advantage of that percentage-based damage and grab out the Malthael. Overall, both teams drafting pretty strong compositions here. You know, you need a couple of strong frontliners over on the side of Roll 1 Esports to be able to protect the Kael'thas and enable the Hanzo. They're also going to have some good, solid rotational abilities here. Meanwhile, on the other side, you know, Muradin and Malthael, both pretty divey heroes. So they are kind of designed to try and move past that front line and try and get back to the Kael'thas. So it's going to be kind of a war of the line of scrimmage here. Which front line can really hold their own and prevent the strategy on the other side? Or will it just be one of those tanks melting into the reset comp here and trying to give Rexpa those big resets? Kind of hard to say, but we'll have to see which one will prevail here. Got to be a 2-game series, and of course in NGS, if any of you guys don't already know, the way it works is if one of these teams win both games in this best of 2 series, they get 3 points. And if one team ends up winning 1 game each, they just get 1 point. So both of these teams will be looking for the sweep and the domination here today. We are loaded in here to Dragonshire, and on the left, it is going to be Roll 1 Esports. Zad going to be playing the Diablo. MJ Doom on the Kael'thas. Tofts is going to be playing the Lucio. Big Beard is going to be on Sonya, and Velvet will be on the Hanzo. Meanwhile, on the right, Team Conflict, Snarky Tiger. Gonna be on the Malthael. Gonna be Joker 49 Frozen. Or Joker of You got me. You got me with the numbers, man. Joker of Frozen. It's gonna be on the Greymane. It is gonna be Taki on the Stukov. Quantaka. Gonna be on the Muradin, and Rexpo will be playing Li Ming. I've seen Joker's name before, too. I should really just call him Joker. I think that's probably where I'm going to go from now on. But, you know, hey. Stuff happens. It's NGS. Where things happen. Meanwhile, both teams going to start rotating around. We are going to see the traditional 4-man rotate here from Roll 1 Esports, at least at the start. But that looks like they might be leaving a couple members down here in bot. Well, we'll go ahead and bring up these talents. We're going to leave those here. But we'll see MJ Doom right away going for the convection. We're also seeing the target practice coming out from the Hanzo, so he's going to be looking to stack that up throughout the game. So a couple stacking talents, but nothing too ridiculous coming in. You know, cocktail build as we would expect from Frozen up there in the mid lane. Lurking Arm talent at 1 for Stukov. And we've seen kind of a mix between We Move Together and you know, the speed off the wall ride coming out from the Lucio players. So Toph's electing to go for that additional movement speed when he empowers that for the team. Meanwhile, both sides here for Team Conflict right away, they rotate out. They are able to capture these beacons. It's going to proc a rotation to the mid for Roll 1 Esports. Look at the size of that logo. Yeah, that's a big logo. It's almost like I'm compensating for something, right? Anyway, we are rotating here to the bottom. Quick grab here by Joker, going down and grabbing that camp. Good camp prioritization here is pretty key on Dragonshire. It's one of the places where it's pretty easy to be able to get an advantage early. So they are going to go ahead and pick that up, which will put a little pressure in the bot, allow them to rotate in here and support grabbing this shrine. But also does give them a good opportunity to try and push in the lane a little bit. But nice defense coming out so far from Roll 1 Esports. They do a nice job of clearing it out, keeping this pushed back to about 50, and not allowing too much damage to go down onto the wall. They've only got about half the tower out of that whole exchange. Meanwhile, Lockdown coming out on Zad, and a little bit of damage being dealt here from Rexpa. But most of the power in the Li Ming comes in the later talents. We do see Dominance was picked up there for the level 4. Meanwhile, Toph's getting silenced there. A little bit of damage coming out, and they're going to have to back up and get some of that slow but steady healing from the Lucio. Velvet and Joker going back and forth here in the mid rotation is on, but Velvet wisely backs out, and Joker's actually going to be able to cast the Dragon Knight there. So nice zoning from the side of Team Conflict, and they'll pick up an early Dragon Knight here, which is not really too influential in the game. I do like the fact that they rotated here to mid to really get a little bit of extra advantage off the fact that they had the minion wave pushed in, so they were able to go ahead and get that first tower down without the DK taking too much damage. They will go ahead and get that second tower very low. They'll actually walk away from it, but the minions will pick it up at the end there. And they'll rotate to bottom. So a couple front walls is kind of what you want to look for with that first Dragon Knight. So right now, Conflict kind of getting all you would expect them to be able to get here. So nice work by them being able to rotate down here and get the job done. Quantaka kind of tossed around a little bit by the Diablo, but he'll Dwarf Toss out. And as soon as the Dragon Knight goes down, we'll see the side of Team Conflict backing out and playing a little bit safer. Do got to get up to those solo laners, though. We haven't seen a whole lot of Big Beard and Snarky Tiger. I apologize for not featuring you guys. We know you're important, but no deaths so far, so you're doing your job. That's really all that matters. I like how there's no damage on either tower so far. It's been they've been completely untouched up here, so going back and forth in the solo lane. And doing a nice job, both teams here. Meanwhile, once again, we see Team Conflict playing that nice rotation game and getting the camps. Greymane, of course, like I said earlier, does do a good job of giving you that advantage. Meanwhile, we got MJ Doom and Tufts here grabbing the siege camp. So both teams prioritizing the camps a little bit differently. We do also have Sonya up on the bruiser camp in right above that mid lane there. So both teams going to be able to have those camps waltzing up into the top lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom, the siege camp is actually starting to walk in towards the front wall. So that's something that Conflict is going to want to respond to here. Now, we'll check in with some of these talents. We have Convection at 9 so far. So MJ Doom's been playing very careful. Not taking too many big risks, so also not being rewarded too heavily with too many stacks, but also hasn't been punished by losing all those stacks. There's another one as he catches Quantaka in that flame strike. They also push the siege camp in, so it's going to get a couple of boulders thrown into that bottom wall tower. But right now, you know, about a half-level lead here for the side of Conflict, which hasn't really been a big deal right until this moment. They get the level 10s. And perfectly timed up here with both of these shrines. It's going to be a really nice advantage for them to try to push here until the side of Roll 1 Esports gets their level 10s. They should be able to try to take advantage to get the Dragon Knight. But in the top lane, we do see that a little bit of a rough time up here for Snarky Tiger having to clear this out. So it's going to give Big Beard the chance to control this shrine and deny the DK for now. In fact, they blatantly go in here without level 10 and are actually able to push Team Conflict back. So a little surprised that Conflict's not using their ultimates to their advantage here. To be fair, some of the ultimates, not some of the high octane, big show-stopping ultimates that you see from some heroes. You know, Avatar, just a survival ult. You know, Cursed Bullet it is able to chunk out a Diablo or a Sonya pretty well. Meanwhile, Gank Attempt up in the top here. Joker has gone up here. And Big Beard actually taking the leap and using it. Able to just get outside the range of the cocktail as well. So Big Beard will survive. And we still, almost 8 minutes into this game, just as I was about to say, it didn't have first blood. But there it goes over to Rexpa and Quantaka. They're going to go ahead and get the Lucio down. They will be able to get control of both of these shrines, and now it will rotate towards the mid, start trying to look at another Dragon Knight here. They have about a level lead. They get the first blood. Can they score the Dragon Knight is the question. Muradin zoning in the bot, keeping Diablo away from that point. 4v4, and Rexpa is able to get a huge combo out, and not only is that huge for the kill, but it's huge for the Convection stack reset, and Kael'thas will go down. And, as aptly stated here in the chat, if you don't get it early, you don't get it at all. And especially against the reset comp here for the side of Team Conflict, they are not able to, or they are able to get in there and get the burst damage and get that pick, that reset comp. But so far, they actually haven't really utilized the resets too much. Meanwhile, Taki going down. As the Dragon Knight rotates to the bottom lane, we will see the side of Roll 1 Esports trying to take advantage of them essentially being a man down right now. They go in, they try to get some damage out. Quantaka will be able to get the Stormbolt to peel Zad back. Meanwhile, the Dragon Knight doing some work on this bottom front wall. Tots actually gets kicked out of this fight with very low health. Quantaka actually hits the Stormbolt, but there's no follow-up there to be able to try and take down the Lucio right away. They're going to go ahead and back up. They got the fort. They also got the fort in mid, so 2 forts fall here. And they do have the level 13. Quantaka caught out a little bit here. Going to have to Dwarf Toss out. Throw out that zoning Stormbolt. But Big Beard with the dive in. Apocalypse a little bit too slow to follow it up, though. And Quantaka will be able to retreat to the safety of both those Stukov heals from Taki and that healing well. And the third win. There's lots of healing coming out onto Quantaka right now. But the huge combo coming out from Rexpa. The Disintegrate will be interrupted by Zad, but now he's going to have to back out. He's in a little bit of trouble. Party Mix will finish here. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, This is really a 3v4, as Sonya was in the mid, but we got Malthael in the top, and all the while, Frozen is actually down there getting that bottom camp. And he will be able to grab it, and they're going to be alerted to him there, but with all those arrows, none of them are going to interrupt Frozen. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, folks. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Joker's not good. I'm just saying that was a whole lot of luck. All of those arrows streaking through that bottom section, and none of them hit him to interrupt that back. And he will instantly rotate up and show us the strength of Greymane on this map and the macro style here. Be able to pick up this camp. Both teams gonna go ahead and exchange camps here, which is a really good move for Team Conflict. I don't know if I would say the same thing for World 1 right now. You know, they have this small window where they don't have the level 16 talent tier disadvantage. It's gonna be real soon before Team Conflict do pick up that 16 talent, and World 1's gotta force, because shrines are coming up. It's about half a level, and right around the time we hear the ding of these shrines being activated, it's going to be level 16 shortly after for Conflict, and they're going to have the advantage once again. Cursed Bullet coming out onto Zad to chunk him down. Nothing a couple of healing orbs won't fix, though. As they charge in, they do get the force onto Rexpa, but the APOC will miss as he goes out. Taki, however, is not going to be so lucky. He will fall, and that was the force that Roll 1 Sports needed, showing signs of life coming into the late game here. They are able to get that down. And now they'll start to push in towards this tower. The level 16s are in. Still over a level away now for Roll 1 Esports. They get a little bit of extra XP from some of the front wall there. However, in the tops, the real story here, Big Beard getting low is going to be able to spear out. However, Snarky Tiger not going to let him go so easily. And that'll be a big pickup in the top lane. Going to lead to an even further XP advantage for Team Conflict. And it's going to totally prevent any chance of inside of Roll 1 being able to pick up this Dragon Knight anytime soon. But again, level 16 not around yet, so they really can't afford to be this far out in lane. Murden actually aggressively dwarf tossing in. Frozen goes in with that Dark Flight, proccing the sound barrier from Toffs. They're going to try and turn here, but still, no level 16. A 4v4 forced here. MJ Doom out of mana, low on health. Can't really do anything in the back of this team fight. Back and forth they go, but eventually we're going to see Roll 1 backing up here, as they can't really force anything without the level 16, and with so little resources on the KT. He's going to have to back. He's going to have to get that mana back up. And they'll have to come back and try and defend in the mid. They're going to get a little bit of XP from the minion wave, but not enough. And Big Beard is going to be isolated here, silenced. And Snarky Tiger with the rotation in from the top will finish it off. The resets are in. Rexpa just barely not able to get enough disintegrate there to take down the Lucio. But they will push him back and get themselves a Dragon Knight. Just in time for level 16 to come. I'm telling you, Roll 1 Esports is so close in this match to being able to compete, but they're just a little bit behind on the, on being able to get the XP they need. But we do see a very smart move here. It will instantly knock down that top wall, so they have the opportunity to try to come in and pressure. Taki throwing down that silence right in on the wall, preventing the side of Roll 1 from being able to come in and engage on them through the wall. And we will go ahead and see Quantaka getting thrown around a little bit. They're going to have to back up. Dragon Knight getting very low. They will kick Lucio away here to prevent the advance. Big Beard actually missing on that leap. Snarky Tiger popping the Tormented Souls. He's going to turn around here, and they're going to try and get something done. The lockdown onto Lucio, and there's your reset, and Rexpa looking to pop off here. Not a whole lot of mana to do so. But we will see Zad actually turning around Joker. He's going to go down. Quantaka is going to be very low. Going to have to pop that Avatar. And all in all, after all is said and done, a very nice tower defense from Roll 1. They go 1 for 1 on that even trade there. And now both teams will just back up, reset, Get some camps. I love it. I mean, I mostly love it because it's a chance for us to stop and reflect and look at some of these talents, right? 16, by the way, on MJ Doom right now. He's looking to get more, but that Stukov silence going to get in the way. Damage coming out from Rexpa, but yet again, low on mana. Can't really affect a whole lot there. So we do see kind of the standard build, standard Calamity here from Rexpa. Very mana dependent here, and we've seen that mana effect coming out. Hanzo's finished that level 1 talent. 16, getting closer and closer for MJ Doom here, as he does have the double flame strike now. But a nice focus there onto the Stukov. Hanzo able to get the final hit there. And this is exactly what Roll 1 Sports needed to get back into this one. 50 seconds before the Stukov is alive, with 10 seconds before the shrine is up. That is huge. That is a huge potential turning point in this match. And it looks like right now Team Conflict knows it. They are back, trying to play safe. The Malthael does capture top, but Snarky Tiger gonna have to get out there. And look at the rotation in here from Roll 1 Esports. They're looking to push their advantage. They should be looking to get a Dragon Knight, because level 20 is right around the corner, and they cannot let the Stukov get back up, but they do not protect the bottom lane. And they're just kind of looking for a pick here, to be honest. I think that's kind of where they're going with this, but I got to give a lot of credit to Conflict. They're not panicking. They're not worried about the Stukov being down. They play safe. They rotate around to get the bottom shrine and deny, and now they've got level 20 and all 5 of their members up. It was a nice camp steal from Roll 1, but they didn't really force much else. I would have loved to have seen them try to force a fight on bot, going after the heap, or forcing to try and get the Dragon Knight. But either way, now Velvet going to be completely blown up here by Rexpa and Joker. Joker going to take a lot of damage in return from MJ Doom, who, by the way, still only 16 on the Flame Strikes. But they will be able to force Joker to back off for now and have to tap. But this is still a 4v5, or 4v4 in the mid. Malthael coming down would make it a 4v5, though. They are going to go ahead and abandon the camp, realizing that it's more important to prioritize grabbing the Dragon Knight right now. And they will do that. They can give up the top fort. That is going to be possibly a keep, if not the game, coming in here. So nice shot calling from the side of Team Conflict to go ahead and get the priorities straight. But there's the Flame Strike. I'll finally get the convection stacks done. And now MJ Doom very strong on the counter siege potential here with those big Flame Strikes. However, Dragon Knight at 18 minutes is pretty strong. They're getting a lot of damage down on it. He's moving forward. We'll go ahead and kick Big Beard out there. It's no spinning or winning for him in this one. However, the charge in onto Quantaka, he's going to have to Dwarf Toss out after popping that Avatar. The complete whiff there of that Diablo ult, the Apocalypse. Meanwhile, the leap will be countered by just one swipe from Taki, and we will be able to see Team Conflict disengaging here. Now with that level 20, they actually are looking to re-engage here before the side of Roll 1 can get it. They will invade on this camp. They get a ton of damage down on the Diablo, but a sound barrier in response. However, Zad charging up into Snarky Tiger. That is not a safe way to go, my friend. He will be completely dominated there in the top. And meanwhile, we will see Lucio getting knocked out as well. Joker able to jump in there, get a ton of damage down on him, but Hanzo actually able to knock out the Muradin at the same time. So both teams getting themselves picks, and level 20 now in for Roll 1 Esports, as we do see them starting to siege up a little bit on this front wall, but they are gonna maybe look to bait them in a little bit here. They are sticking around. They're getting a little damage on this front wall. They've got great poke potential, so that's always good. We got a couple members of the side of Roll 1 Esports going to mid, pushing that out. can't let those catapults go unchecked in the mid. They'll constantly be spawning throughout the rest of the game. Interestingly enough, we still have Snarky Tiger holding that level 20 talent. We'll have to see what he decides to go. Probably says, you know, hey, I don't need it. I haven't used it yet, so heck. Meanwhile, we do see all the other 20 talents are in pretty standard picks for the Sonya. We are going to see the bonus track coming in from Lucio. The longer cast range for Flame Strike coming in from MJ Doom. Meanwhile, here comes the invasion. They are looking to force here on this bottom camp. They've got a lot of mercenary camps and other damage around here. Velvet getting just completely knocked down there. And will be finished off by Rexpa. We will also see the reset coming in from the Diablo kill. Sound Barrier is going to come in to try to get them out, but Big Beard is not going to be able to survive in this situation. Quantaka hits a huge Storm Bolt to kill the Lucio. And suddenly MJ Doom, the only one left with no mana at the same time. So we'll be able to throw out one Flame Strike, but Joker is not going to let him get away with that. He will go down. And that is going to be it. The 5 members after that 5 for nothing team wipe. Going to be able to come in here and capture game 1. Team Conflict. Gonna win their map choice here in game number 1 and earn themselves the first game in this 2-game series over Roll 1 Esports. Of course, we do have Roll 1 coming up with their map pick next. So we'll have to see what they decide to pull out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Give you guys a quick snapshot of the stats here. Kalthos with a ton of damage, as well as the Hanzo. But, you know, it's kind of spread damage. It's not easily targetable. And that's what we saw all game from Rexpa and Joker. They were able to get in there, get the picks they needed, good focus firing. And I really think that was most of the difference in the game. You know, both teams played a pretty good macro game. But, you know, overall, it just came down to the picks, 13-5. And, you know, the side of Roll 1 had a hard time capitalizing when they did get that big Stukov pick at the near the end of the game there. I thought that could have been a good opportunity for them to capitalize, but they just couldn't really take advantage of it. So Conflict comes back, finishes it off strong, and gets themselves a win. That'll be game numero uno. We'll update our score here. We will get the next lobby set up for these teams, and we'll get you guys back in as soon as humanly possible. So we will be going to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is actually one of my favorite maps. I don't know about you guys, but I love it. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and watching NGS. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you guys like NGS. I'm going to be casting all season. I'll be trying to pick up multiple casts every week and having a good time with you guys. Because, you know, what's better than organized HOTS, really? I mean, it's just a genuinely great time. All right, so we got both teams filing their way on in here. Like we got about 8 of 9. All right. And this will be first pick, first ban for the side of Team Conflict, as it is the map choice for Roll 1 Esports. Also, the banned maps, you guys may or may not want to know. Team Conflict banned out Towers of Doom, and it was Sky Temple banned out by Roll 1 Esports. Good information to have, right? All right. So it looks like we got everybody in lobby. Let me just confirm with both these teams that they are ready to go. I think Okay, last game we had... Did we have banning? All right. Oh, sick Carbot shirt. Yeah, thank you. I really like Carbot. I think he's he's a genius. He's just really funny, and I do. And I like the shirt. It's got all three of the main characters. You know, the Marine, the Zergling, which I love. I love his interpretation of the Zerglings. That's the best. And then of course the Rage lot. The Rage lot, man, he gets a bad rap. It's just not fair. Well, hello there. Oh my goodness. That was sudden. I didn't see it coming. Now you guys can't even see my shirt. Now it's a cat shirt.
New follower detected.
Rock Your Worlds, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it, my friend. Welcome.
New follower detected.
And JakeBot16. You might be a bot, but, you know, thanks. Thanks for coming in anyway.
New follower detected.
And 7th Ace. I think maybe we're just getting caught up, but thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the follows. And we are going to get started here in game number 2. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Roll1 Esports looking to break this thing wide open. Give us an even game against Team Conflict. Team Conflict looking to get themselves 3 points in the domination. But it is going to be the map pick for Roll1 Esports. I find that a lot of the times it's, you know, it's just a lot about the map picks. You know, if it's your map, you tend to have the advantage there. You know you play the game well. They usually have a plan not only for drafting, but also for for the actual map itself and the objectives and all that. So we'll see what Roll1 Esports is ready to break out with here. And yes, actually, Speedcuber, I agree with you that Conflict has grown quite a lot, because I've seen them not only through a lot of through some NGS, but also through some Chair League. So you know, I played these guys a few. I believe Chair League anyway. I think I'm right about that. But yeah, these guys have definitely been around for a bit, and they have definitely grown here. They have entered in the B division. Actually, it happens to be the league that I play in. I think actually we're playing both of these teams next week, so not trying to scout, just pick the late match. But you know, still good fun. Cool dog, bro. 1-800-CATFAX. What? I'm confused, but that's okay. The StarCraft voice, yeah, I like it. Oh wait, there's a draft going on. My bad. Okay, Malfurion banned out right away from Team Conflict. Very interesting map ban. He's kind of, Malf is kind of in this new place where he's really good if you play him well and you know you have a good performance with him, but if that performance isn't amazing, it falls kind of flat, so it can be kind of rough. Manned Gaming, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Welcome.
New follower detected.
As well as Kendo Hots. Meanwhile, Hanzo on the other side, not a big surprise. We saw a lot of damage coming in last game from the Hanzo, so he's pretty strong. Speedcuber, thank you for the follow. Speedcuber. So we'll see the ETC picked up right away from Team Conflict. He's very strong. He's just a really strong hero in general. With that frontline CC and the just the threat of Mosh Pit, you know, even if you don't end up taking it, you always have to draft around it. You always have to think about it. Even if you take it and it's easily countered, you always have to play around it. You know, it's just very threatening hero in the ETC. Meanwhile, strong combination coming in from Roll 1 Esports, which I really like. We've seen a lot of this combo, which is Arthas and Lucio. So Arthas, who of course has that slowing aura that can, you know, slow down your movement speed and your attack speed. Could be very hard to get away from an Arthas once he gets onto you. You have to have some sort of disengage mechanic. And then Lucio, to speed him up, makes it easier to get in onto those heroes in the first place. Meanwhile, on the other side, Stukov and Greymane, which is a little bit surprising to me. The Greymane in particular, very much countered by the Arthas, with slowing that attack speed, and the fact that Greymane really has to be able to jump in with that Dark Flight to engage on you. And the Stukov with no mobility. So this might actually, I mean, a very interesting pick, but I'd like to know the, you know, the thought process going into those two picks there for Team Conflict. If those are just comfort picks for them, or, you know, if they disagree on how that's countered, because I'm a little bit worried about that pick overall. But meanwhile, the Malthael will be banned out here for the side of Roll 1 Esports. They're not wanting to see a repeat of that from Team Conflict. We have a dedicated chat channel for cat pictures. I like it. That's a good team name, Kendo. I like it. That's pretty funny. I mean, can't we at least be silver? Like, nah, bronze is probably more accurate. Alright, so anyway, we got Malthael and now the Sonya ban on the other side. So both teams gonna have to find themselves a new solo laner. Kind of a bummer, but you know, that's how the game goes sometimes. What can we say?
New follower detected.
Big Beard, thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated, my friend. Welcome. Meanwhile, Johanna and Kael'thas is going to be picked up here. Consummate Consort. Also, thank you for the follow. Follower train is strong tonight, baby. Two more picks coming up here for Team Conflict. Ideally, they want another front line. They definitely need a solo laner. Ha! Oh, Dankstrom. No, I'm not. I swear, I'm not doing it on purpose. I picked these teams to cast way before I knew I was playing them next week. It's not my fault that they're the only teams tonight playing in the time I can do it. That's okay. You know, if it wasn't me, it'd be somebody else casting, and I'd just be watching the VOD. So what's the difference, really? So here we are with Leoric and Chromie being picked up. So the Chromie was banned in the first game by Roll 1 Esports. So that seems to be something that they knew was coming from Team Conflict and the Medivh coming out. So we don't get to see a lot of Medivh play. But this is what I'm talking about right here with your map pick and the advantage that that gives. Roll 1 Esports was probably planning on taking Tomb of the Spider Queen. They probably have a plan on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So here's Medivh. You know, here's something a little bit out of the norm, right? And so the question is, can Team Conflict, you know, did they see this coming, and can they, you know, end up figuring out how to crack that code and win? Because that's the real challenge here in NGS. Each team picks a map. Each team prepares a strategy on that map and a draft strategy. And the question is, does the other team have an answer for it? And that could be pretty rough, you know? We see a lot of splits for that reason, with teams that are pretty equally, they're pretty equally balanced in terms of skill level. That both teams just win because it's their map pick. They had a plan, and the other team just wasn't quite able to stop that train from rolling. So we'll see if that is indeed the case here with the Medivh. I will say the Medivh is a pretty good counter to Chromie, which I really like. And you know, good strategy with the mobility that it gives on this small map. But either way, we are loaded in here on to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which will be the second map here. Map choice of Roll1 Esports, who is the team on the left. Zad going to be playing the Johanna. Tofts is going to be on Lucio once again this game. MJ Doom also coming back for a second game here on to the Kael'thas. Velvet is going to be playing the Medivh. And we'll have Big Beard on the Arthas. While your team on the right, Team Conflict, looking to go 2-0 here, get that domination, and get themselves 3 points. It is going to be Joker up there on the Greymane. We're going to see Rexpa on the Chromie. Taki going to be playing the Stukov. Quantaka going to be getting the ETC. And in that bottom lane, Snarky Tiger will be playing the Leo. So down here, both of our solo laners playing new heroes, but got to give that advantage, I think, to Snarky Tiger on the Leo. That percentage-based damage from the Drain Hope is going to be really big against, pretty high health pool Arthas. But we'll have to see. At the end of the day, Arthas has a lot of CC and damage potential as well. Meanwhile, both teams going to start the rotation process here. Should be a 4-man rotation between top and mid, though teams might decide to... actually, I'm sorry, folks. I forgot to swap over the overlay. Let's move that big, giant logo out of the way, shall we? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. But we will see that... right away, both teams prioritizing the rotation. Both teams have decent wave clear. Or at least they have some heroes that have decent wave clear. Johanna's pretty solid at it. Kael'thas is pretty good wave clear. I would definitely say Medivh has good wave clear. So, overall, not bad over for Roll1 Esports. ETC's definitely got some struggles with wave clear. He's not the best hero, but Greymane, very, very good on the wave clear game. That's really his strength. Chromie offering some decent wave clear potential. Yeah, not really Stukov's thing, that's for sure. But meanwhile, Velvet taking some damage there. Both teams, right now, they're just mainly rotating for the gems and the XP. That's all they really want. And we actually see Team Conflict not rotating Frozen at all. As soon as he sees that rotation to the mid, he pushes really hard. He's actually gotten a pretty decent amount of extra damage up here in the top onto that front wall. For top lane is the priority. Meanwhile, the gank into the bottom as they are able to kill off Arthas here. Huge rotation from Team Conflict. They're able to get that solo lane down, and the gem count will end up falling a bit here from the side of Roll1 Esports. So Team Conflict also taking the opportunity as they rotated, turn in some of those gems. Quantaka still holding on to a lot, but the Kael'thas goes down in the top lane. This game, he was electing to take the orb talent instead, so he's going to be looking for that barrier once he gets 20 of those regeneration globes. So no reset on that talent, unlike Convection. Lucky for him. Zad getting caught out a little bit here by Quantaka. Takes some damage from Rex, but we'll be able to walk out and get that tap. Sorry about that, guy. I apologize about the logo mishap, but you guys don't really want to know the talents anyway. It's all right. Meanwhile, the side of Conflict continuing to do a nice job here. They do go ahead and pick up the first Web Weaver. Solid rotations, solid gem priority here, and they get about a half-level lead, but that should be extended a bit here with this Web Weaver phase. We do see Roll1, though, coming in, getting a nice engage, actually getting a lot of damage down onto Tofts, but we do see the Force of Will coming out from Velvet. We'll be able to get Tofts out of there safely with that protected status. It's going to be a good combo here. I like the Medivh as the damage prevention, while the Lucio has good steady healing. But he needs help. He needs something to be able to help in terms of keeping that damage away while he is able to slowly heal the team back up. Meanwhile, full dive in onto Medivh. will not be able to get the Force of Will fast enough onto himself there. And will end up going down. Zad trying to juke away from the Chromie combos, but meanwhile, a lot of damage coming down here. And the side of Team Conflict pushing in deep, getting Johanna 26 gems on the floor. And they also do a really nice job of staying in there and zoning them off. So right now, Team Conflict showing some really nice play here in the early game. They get 4 for nothing. They get the first set of Web Weavers. Now we're going to turn their eyes towards Boss. Be a little bit risky. They do have the scouting hourglass there. Rexpa also constantly throwing those Qs out to the side there, giving them a little bit of extra range of view there. Meanwhile, the side of Roll 1 Esports, not really worried about it. They do rotate to try and get the gank on Snarky Tiger, but he will be able to get on out of there with that. What's the name of it, actually? It's the Ghost One. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm blanking. But we'll be able to walk on out of there. It's okay, chat. I know you'll remind me. You'll let me know once the stream catches up to the delay. You'll remind me the name of that ability, because it'll bug me until I remember. Meanwhile, in the top lane, huge push here with the level 10 from Team Conflict. They know that they've got this game firmly in control at the moment, so they are not worried about stacking 5 into the top. They are not concerned with that camp pushing in the bot. They are purely looking to get the keep here at 6.5 minutes, and they do get exactly that. The boss is going to end up going down, but now a 3-level lead. And the first keep of the game going over to Team Conflict. And they are doing a very nice job of rotating together. Huge priority to rotate and aid the push. And, you know, one thing I found about the most recent round of changes to the laning phases and the camps is since they've given these towers some of their damage back, you know, more of that damage, it seems like the walls and the structures are able to hold their own a little bit better against camp pushes. One of the small exceptions to that being the boss. I think the bosses still do a pretty good job of pushing the structures, but you put these little camps and all these little minions out. I don't know, the towers with unlimited ammo and more damage now, it seems like they do a lot better job of clearing out these minions before the minions are able to get a lot of damage out. So if you put just a little bit of pressure in with like a boss or a big push like that, you can get some good results. But if you're just leaving them alone, like we saw in the mid there, that camp pushing for quite a while in the mid, at the end of the day, didn't even get the front wall in that mid lane. So, but we saw in the top lane, Team Conflict pushes that top camp in, or top boss, I should say. Push that top boss in, and they easily get the keep. Really without burning any of their heroics either, you know, aside from Cursed Bullet, you know, think the smaller heroics like that, but didn't need to use the Mosh Pit. Speaking of Mosh Pit, we see Quantaka gliding in, maybe looking for one here. Flailing Swipe to try and zone them away here. Sound Barrier coming down, but we will see a 3-man Mosh Pit coming out from the side of Team Conflict. Arthas will be the first to fall, and silenced in that wall and the lurking arm. Kelthos will fall. Lucio will fall. Eventually, Johanna will fall. And Medivh forced to just watch from his perch on high as all the rest of Roll 1 Esports falling here in the mid lane. And Team Conflict, after forcing all those gems onto the floor, will go ahead and turn some of theirs in to that big, weird egg sack, and will spawn themselves some web weavers. Heroics are in, by the way. Let's take a look at these real quick. We do see Syndragosa coming out here from Big Beard. Leyline Seal along with the Sound Barrier, Phoenix, and Falling Sword coming out here for Roll 1 Esports. Meanwhile, we do see the Slowing Sands, and we also see it on the map doing a nice job of zoning them away from the wall here. Mosh Pit with the Entomb, Cursed Bullet, and the Flailing Swipe. Got 45 seconds on the mosh pit here, but Entomb is up along with that lurking arm. Can be quite effective. The slide in, and there it is. The lurking arm in that Entomb. It's going to trap Lucio and Kael'thas and lead to a bit of an early death there. We also see an interesting talent at 7. I mean, interesting talent at 13, I should say, that the 150% increased damage, the low blow. I really like that coming in here from Taki. Definitely, I think, a momentum-based talent, but with a 4-level lead, why the heck not? Holy cow. Meanwhile, they will go ahead and push this mid lane. They get the keep. Wraithwalk, thank you very much. I appreciate it. As they will Wraithwalk away. You guys are the best. I always know you guys got my back. While Chromie going to take a timeout, Quantaka going to go ahead and try to zone with that zoning mosh pit. And we'll be able to get Rexpa out. Now they're actually looking to turn this here. Big Beard going to end up going down to the Greymane and the Chromie damage. Snarky Tiger will get in there and will Wraithwalk back out. Right now, things coming up Team Conflict. They're looking really spot on here tonight. Ton of these minions stacking into the top. Roll1 Esports will have to go ahead and back on up and work on that a bit. Meanwhile, here comes the boss from Team Conflict. So this is something that Roll1 really has to come up here and try to contest. However, it looks like the rotation just not going to be in time. I think I get needing to clear, but you got to try and do something, because this boss, I think, is pretty much an insta into the game. It is only a 12-minute boss, but still, I think it's going to be pretty rough for them to try to defend here. You have all 5 members marching in with this boss in the top lane. They've got a couple of catapults in this lane as well, pushing in towards the keep. Mid lane is still pushed out a bit, but they're doing a nice job of sticking together. We will see the backdoor attempt here as they go in behind, and we're actually going to see the Syndragosa come out from the back. Nice portal in. Johanna trying to go in will be stopped. The ley line sealed, and Quantaka is actually being zoned here, but the core, the shields are gone as the boss has started wailing on this core. Quantaka getting a nice heal there from Taki, and they are going to be able to just waltz in, focus in on the core, and it is going to end up going down to the boss damage and to Joker's damage in the back. The sound barrier comes out, but it's too little, too late for the side of Roll1 Esports as Team Conflict going to take a second win here and will come out with the domination. Finishing it up here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. A couple of very clean games coming in from Team Conflict. And I did like the Roll1 Esports strategy here with the Medivh, but at the end of the day, they weren't able to capitalize on their comp's ability to counter the Greymane. They weren't able to rotate around or get to the back line. But on the other side, just some incredible combos here from Snarky Tiger and Taki. With that Entomb and the Lurking Arm. So they were able to really shut down some of the members here of Roll1 Esports. Very good map awareness and rotations as well. And they clean up a pretty quick second game. We'll go ahead and reach out to the team captain of Team Conflict and try to get a quick interview in here. These guys. I'll go ahead and leave it up to Quantaka, team captain. We'll let him send whoever he feels like bringing in on the interview. But very clean game. I was pretty impressed with a lot of what they were doing here. I do like the call at the end there to rotate in, but I do like the rotation in from Roll1 on the back door, but it was just kind of too little too late there. 3 levels down. That's kind of a rough world to live in for roll 1. And it looks like I am being joined by Snarky Tiger.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing after that big win? How are you guys feeling?
Oh man, pretty good. We're having some fun. Getting back to this season, we had some roster changes, so we're getting back in the swing of things. So it feels good to win,
For sure, and we saw some really strong combos, especially in that second game. The Entomb Lurking Arms, those things were disgusting.
Yeah, that's a little side project of Taki and mine. Just having fun doing those little sneaky combos that are a little lesser known, probably, at least in sort of like Div B area, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of those really common strategies with, the Lucio and Arthas, those kind of things. But how much do you and Taki have to practice to really get those things down? Do you guys spend a lot of time together with that?
It's more of we got like a psychic connection, I think. You do it on accident one time, and then that's that. You're like, yep, that's a combo that we never thought of. So I mean, you just sort of do it, you send it, and that's it, right?
There it is. That's it. In game 2, are you guys worried at all about drafting the Greymane and the Stukov into that Lucio Arthas strategy with the lack of mobility?
No.
All right. Well, fair enough.
We weren't thinking about it really. Let's not. We trust our guys to position well, and not get caught off by those sort of things.
All right. Well, you guys get in a big domination win here in week number 1 to close out the week. You guys got any shout outs or anything else you want to mention here tonight?
Yeah, shout outs to everybody that played tonight. Super fun games, super fun opening. Shout out to my mom for giving birth to me, and
there you go.
and everybody else's mom for giving birth to them. Say thanks.
Those moms are doing it right, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
All right, man. Thank you very much for joining me. Congrats on the big win, and have yourself a good night.
Thank you for casting us, man. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Snarky Tiger with the dreamy voice. I like that, Sazzle. All right, thank you guys for joining me for this NGS match. Quite a lot of fun. Team Conflict. Ooh, let's go over here first. That big win by Team Conflict. But, got to give a lot of credit to Roll 1 Esports coming out, showing up, and giving us some good games to watch and cast. And thanks to everybody. Thanks for coming out and joining us here tonight for NGS. Feel free to hit that follow button and check out some more NGS this season. I'm going to be coming back tomorrow night with another match. Let me actually broadcast that one up correctly so you guys know exactly when to come back. Got this handy dandy schedule that I just really makes it easy for me to see. We got actually, it is going to be an A division match tomorrow night. Chromie's Cronies versus Do You Know? And that's going to be at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So that's typically about the time frame that I'll be casting here in NGS, is around that 7:30 to 9 o'clock start time, those kind of matches. So it's been a lot of fun so far, and I'll look forward to doing that the rest of this season, moving forward into NGS. So hopefully you guys had a good time tonight, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.